Hi everyone, this is a yin practice specifically for the shoulders. We'll do a little bit of other things as well, but we will be using 2 myofascial balls and a block. So let's begin on our back. Oh, just feel that shift to the mat. For me, right, as soon as I lay down on the mat, it's like there's just a very specific shift. Feeling the body, just come here right now, feeling the awareness of you, of how you feel. Knowing there's not one other thing more important to be doing than this right now. Just notice your natural breath. Let your legs be comfy, arms be easy. Maybe enhance the breath now for an inhale. So just kind of noticing it. That usually makes us breathe more when we pay attention to it. And exhale. Find your block. I recommend the medium height. You can make adjustments as we go though. It will go under the sacrum for bridge pose. If you go there and you're like, wait a minute, this is too much, you can change it to the first height. If you have a firmer block, maybe put a towel over it. So set that up so that your low back's not on the block at all and your butt's kind of hanging off, really relaxed. It's just right at the base of your spine. Find your balls, hopefully they're handy, and I like to cross it over and instead of just going straight back, it's a little easier, but however it feels easiest to you to sneak the balls under your shoulders, and we're going for the upper tracts. So if I were to if we were to be in the same room and I were to be there and look, I could see from above the balls peeking out on either side of the neck. And you're kind of just can feel it. You can sort of feel that it's not in between your shoulder blades, it's just up on that. You know when someone gives you a massage, if you've been working all day and they just like rub the tops of those shoulders. Oh, that's where we want the balls. You may or may not feel too much right now. If you already feel something nice in the shoulders, you can stay or bring the arms up and over the head, which usually intensifies the sensation quite a bit. For everyone, this is going to be different. Don't think you have to be getting a huge sensation for this pose to be effective, for the shape to work. If you need to make subtle adjustments, even a millimeter, sometimes just adjusting the ball a millimeter helps. But once you find something that you can just rest into, whether your arms are up or down, we'll practice some breath here. So first you can just breathe in through both nostrils and breathe out through the nostrils. We're going to be doing nostril breathing. Some of you may have done alternate nostril breathing before. We're going to actually do that, but without using our hands to hold a nostril. So what that means is it's going to be kind of a little more general, and for the most part, the both nostrils will be breathing in. You're just going to be focusing on one versus the other. So it's not like you can control if the left nostril breathes, because we're not going to close it with our thumb, but you'll bring a focus and awareness to that nostril. So hope that kind of makes sense. Anyway, I'll guide you through that. And don't worry about it. Just if you don't even want to do it, you don't have to. But just see if you can relax in this shape. Let's start with a big breath in or a big breath out through both nostrils. Just noticing. And now sip in your breath through your left nostril. Noticing your left nostril. Pause. Exhale on the right nostril. Pause. Inhale on the right nostril. Pause. Exhale on the left nostril. So you always switch after the inhale. Inhale left nostril. Pause. Exhale right nostril. Inhale right nostril. Pause. Exhale left nostril. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Pause. Exhale left. Inhale left. And do a few more rounds on your own. You can slow it down and maybe pause longer. So you'll end with an exhale on the right nostril. And now both nostrils breathe in. Breathe out and just notice how your head feels. Breathing in. Breathing out. Linger on the exhale. We'll bring our arms down by our side, lifting hips off of the block, lowering your hips. You probably won't feel too much with the balls now, so you can just leave them there, or you could move away from them and take a moment to notice through your pelvis. Notice how just even in a short amount of minutes, how maybe you feel a little bit different. We'll use our block for the next one as well, and you don't need a ball. So this will be for the right arm. So lay it on your right side. Again, block on the second height. And again, if the block is too firm, you'll use a towel or something on it, like a wood block. Sometimes cork block can be too much. And you'll feel the top edge of the block. You place your armpit in the center of the block. Top edge right in the armpit, bottom edge will be kind of the upper ribs. The elbows should be able to rest heavy on the ground, and just set yourself up so that you're comfy and you can relax into the block. I learned this from Tiffany Cruikshank, who founded Yoga Medicine, who I learned so much from, and I do a lot of her trainings, and this is just life-changing, this one. So see if you can just melt your body into the block first, and you'll kind of know if you can relax. If you're holding a little bit, gripping, you might need some cushion on there, towel or a blanket. So we'll roll back and forward about 3 or 4 passes, just gliding the tissues, gliding the armpit over the block. And as you roll a little bit more forward, you notice the sensation in the front, and as you roll back, you might notice it could be tighter, maybe not as tight, or maybe not even use the word tight, but You might feel more sensation. And just checking it out. So once you find toward the back, just stay in a spot kind of more. So this is kind of more for the lats, that thick tissue band that's kind of in the back. It's really strong, works really hard. And really, as long as you just find a spot you can rest into, all of this area all under here is so helpful to release. So see if your head, sometimes in classes I notice people holding their head up like this without their arm, or really the trick is to just let that head feel so supported, because as soon as we have to hang on with our head, our shoulders grip. So we'll just try to relax the head and see if you can melt into the sensation. Just a few breaths. So next we'll do the front, work into some of the chest and the front of the shoulder. You'll roll all the way over the block. So we'll stay on our side, our right side. And you may or may not need to adjust that corner up, the bottom corner of the block up, and the whole chest. It might just be a little bit. The whole right side of your chest will lay on the block, and you'll kind of see if you can rest your head on your forearms and get sort of comfy there. So the pressure is now in the pecs. You can stay right here, or if you want, you can, for a little gliding of the tissues, which can be very helpful to hydrate the tissues in this area. You might lift the right arm, bend your right elbow, and do little snow angels. So what you're doing is you're gliding the outer layer with the under layer, that what happens of the tissues, because they get constricted and they get gripped onto each other because of life and all the work that we do and our posture. So we're just trying to ungrip that and trying to smooth out these tissues. And after you've done a few of those, you can just rest here, and this shouldn't be painful at all. If it's sensational, that's fine. If it feels painful in a yucky way, back off. Add some extra cushion, some extra support. Should feel kind of good in that sometimes intense way. Stay for a few more moments, just resting your head. Last few breaths. If you notice anything kind of gripping or holding still, maybe just see if you can just soften and melt into the block for one more moment. Okay, wonderful. So we'll do one more on this side, then we'll check things out. So we'll check it out. So just, you might notice that release already in that blood flush through the chest. You'll need a ball. We'll place it right in the center of that block. And this one is going to go right in the armpit. Sounds a little vulnerable. And it can be more of a sensitive, tender area. It also can feel really delightful. It's part of your rotator cuff. So if you can find a way to relax, kind of right in the center of the armpit. I notice for some people they need it a little higher, a little lower, just by a centimeter, not by very much. So just find, if this is impossible for you to rest into, right in that center of the armpit, definitely grab a towel or blanket and put it over the ball. That'll help. But find something that you can sort of try to settle into. This can feel pretty intense. Again, it shouldn't feel painful. This is an area that often gets overlooked. that really does need its own kind of clearing. I think a lot gets held in the armpit. Even emotionally, if you notice sometimes that area, you know, if it smells or something or you're detoxing, it comes out of the armpit. So this is a great place to release for so many reasons. And see if you can relax into that for a few more breaths. Notice if on the exhale you're able to soften more. See if your legs are gripped, or your feet. Just let them be easy. Maybe the other hand can relax. And now we'll just gently lift ourselves up. Move the ball and block out of the way. Lay down on your back. So tune into your shoulders. Tune into your right shoulder and your left. Notice the right shoulder blade. See if it feels maybe heavier than the left to the ground, or you might notice a different texture or feeling, temperature in each shoulder. You might even feel down the arm that the right arm might feel different than the left arm. This might feel more connected. Some people sometimes say they notice it feels heavier. So let's even it out. You can stay on the same side. I'm just going to move to this way. And we'll begin with just the block under our armpit. Second height. Top edge in the armpit, bottom edge in the upper ribs. And you'll just kind of hold your head there and relax. Relax into the block and see if you have enough space in front of your block and behind to start to make some passes, just gliding nice and slow, feeling the textures along the way, feeling, for me right now, and it does change day to day, when I roll back, it is a lot more sensational than when I roll forward right now. But it might vary, so I might spend a little more time kind of rolling back toward the lats. Ooh. Just being with the sensation as it is, not really having a discussion about it, just what does it feel like? Are you able to give in to it and allow? And it's not bad if you're not, it just means that you need some more cushion or support. Maybe a softer block. If it's really subtle, that's okay too. It's still working. So you'll lean kind of to the back first and find something that you can rest into for a few breaths. See if your head can be heavy, your jaw. Sometimes the face tightens up with this, so notice if And then we just ride the wave of sensation and attune to the feeling. Begin to start rolling your way forward. Here's where we'll do the chest. That bottom corner will be right in the chest. You might need to adjust the block slightly to get comfy there, resting your forehead. So you're still on your left side, but the upper part of the body and the chest is laying down on the block. You can lift your left arm a little bit and glide. Snow angel that arm. Sometimes that feels really, you can kind of almost feel how that's releasing the layers of tissue, kind of smoothing things out. And after a couple passes, find that resting point where you can just let your head be, let your legs be easy. And being right with the sensation you feel, because it changes. Noticing if you start to drift off, or if you start to wonder when this is going to be done. All just natural human things. Just noticing that, reminding ourselves, here we are. There's no other place or other thing to do. This is it. This is everything. Notice how the breath might allow the tissues, allow you to melt a little deeper. Last few breaths. Begin to release nice and slow, so you can feel the unwinding there. You might start to feel that flush, that left armpit, chest. One more. Put the ball in the center. This sometimes is, some people love this, some people don't. So you'll put this right in the armpit. And see if you can rest into that ball. Just finding it right in the center of the armpit. You might need to go up or down a little bit until you find a good spot to rest into. And it takes courage to be with the sensations you feel, instead of avoiding it or rushing it, but just slowing down into that sensation, into that feeling. Slowing down when it gets difficult. Pausing to check it out. What is this? What am I feeling? Often the raw energy of what's happening, I'm not just talking about on the mat, is way more doable than that fight or struggle against it. Like just feeling what it is. It doesn't have to be right or wrong, good or bad, perfect or imperfect or any of that. Just here it is. Here's the feeling. Curious about it. Getting to know it. Getting to know yourself better with this sensation of this ball in your armpit. Sure is a nice way to get to know your armpit better. Take another few breaths. Slowly start to lift off of that ball. This is some people's favorite part of this one. I'm not sure about for you. And we'll lay down and check it out. So the left side's fresh, but you might feel kind of more of an evenness. There might be a little more tingly on the left side right now. We just did it. But you may feel more of an evenness in the shoulder blades. Just checking out how it feels. Okay, so we'll work into a stretch, puppy pose. Roll over to all fours. Hips will lift. If you took a peek at your hips, your knees can be pretty wide. Just a little bit wider than the hips maybe. Your hips will be just a little behind your knees. So you're not going to be in all fours. You'll just be bringing your butt back, working your arms forward in front of you. Maybe if you need to rest your head on a block, you can. Maybe you keep your arms as they are. Or if you would like more, inch the elbows in closer. You don't have to if you already feel it. Palms together. Lift up the forearm, so bend the elbow and the palms, the prayer hands can reach toward your neck if that feels good. If that just feels like too much, just bring the arms back down. If you don't feel much, inch the elbows closer together and a little farther away from you. And melt in. And once you kind of melt and settle in there, you might start to feel more. Letting yourself relax here, letting your head relax. It doesn't feel like you can let go. You might just bring your arms back down. See if that helps you let go. Sometimes if I do too much, my body, I won't even feel it. I won't feel the sensation because my body will just be holding. So add a slight variation. You might just bring those prayer hands back down first for this. I like to transition. We walk our hands to the right a little bit. And then maybe you bring the prayer hands back up in your side angle. This is more for that left armpit, left lat, left side body a little bit. Or just keep the arms down. For me, it's enough with the arms down. Just depends on your shoulders and what you do, and what you did today or yesterday you did, what your activities are. So doing the more, the variation with the arms up doesn't mean you're better or more you have a more flexible mind or anything like that. It just, everybody's body's different. Just find the shape that feels like you can rest into. There's this sensation in that outer seam of that left armpit and maybe side body. I'm actually leaning my body weight a little to the left as well. Soften the tops of the shoulders, take a moment. And just begin, if you're in that prayer hand variation, bring the arms down to ease your weight to the other side. So we're walking our hands to the left now. Find your setup on this side. Maybe lean into that right side a little if that feels good. So there's a balance between overdoing it, and just finding that nice place where you can soften and you can surrender. And that's kind of the yin, is allowing yourself to surrender, be with it. Feeling the weight of your head heavy on the ground. Noticing that right outer armpit. So we'll walk our hands back to center just for one more breath. And making your way all the way to belly. So lowering all the way down. Sphinx pose, elbows under shoulders. You might just massage out through the belly and the hips a bit. Let your head relax. If that feels okay, you can just soften your neck. Kind of let the head relax. If it doesn't feel helpful, you can grab your block and rest your forehead on the block to get a nice pressure right there, right in between your eyebrows. It can be really releasing for headaches, and it can be helpful to release the neck as well. And the brain. It's giving the brain if that high height's too much, you can bring it to that medium. Sometimes if you let your head have something to melt into, you actually can get a bigger release. So we'll slowly lift our head up and draw a few circles with our, if possible, it's a little tricky sometimes if you haven't done this before. But what we're trying to do is just draw some circles with our shoulders, specifically our shoulder blades, and going back. And now try forward. One direction's always a little bit more awkward and weird, and just see if you can draw a circle with your shoulder. You don't have to do it too big. And now maybe figure eights. Forward figure eights. Maybe just do one shoulder at a time. See if you feel any crunchy, crinky things. Nice. Okay, so we'll do one more stretch. And this will be for our chest, one more stretch for the shoulders. And we'll do our right chest stretch. So 2 options. First, you can do airplane arm. So your shoulder, your elbow will be a little in front of your shoulder, and your wrist will be just a tinge bit higher, so you're not down here or all the way up. You won't feel it in those ways. And you can stay here with that arm straight, or you can cactus the arm. It's personal preference. So I've been really liking the cactus arm. It just feels good to me. It feels a little deeper into the chest. But you can try out both and see what you like. Then you'll place your right ear on the mat. Now I'm going to keep my head this way so that you can hear me with the microphone. But you'll have your right ear on the mat and relax. And then you'll open your body over the outstretched arm. It might just be a little bit. It might be a little more. You might kickstand that left leg behind you. So I've had some clients that they feel it just without even opening up over, and that's not bad. That's just enough for them. That's where they're at. So don't feel like you have to go all the way open to get the stretch. Just start slow and just open up enough that you feel this opening through that right chest. Find a way to get comfy there. So if you're there and you're comfortable, just stay. I'm going to show you the other way to do this. You can have that arm more straight and open up from there. If you want the left arm, you can lift the left arm up and hook it loosely behind your low back, only if that feels nice. Any position with the leg that allow you to relax. We'll just stick with this passive range of motion stretch here for about another minute. So just let yourself relax into this opening. If you need to make adjustments, it's really good to just back off all the way to the belly first and then open up. And once you find it, I've been sort of fidgety. I just noticed that I've been really fidgety with this one, so that might mean that I have a lot of extra built up tension in my chest. But once you find something, try to be still, not because you want to be like a statue or stiff, but the more we're still, the more the mind can drop in and the body can receive this incredible benefit of balancing out our being from everyday life. A few more rounds of breath. Slowly start to make your way to your belly. If you had that arm hooked, unhook that arm. And we'll lay down on our belly, gently sliding, really nice and slow, so that pose can stick. And slowly bring the arms down by your side. Arms down, palms up, if that feels good. One ear to mat. Rest. Constructive rest. And we'll do the other side. Find your setup with your left arm. It might be that cactus. It might stretch that left arm to straight. Line it up though. If that left arm, you might take a peek with your head. If the left arm's down by your side or up above your head, you won't really feel it. So like an airplane wing. Left ear to the mat and let's do this one. And start to pry your body over that arm that's outstretched. Do anything you can with the legs. It might be different on this side than the other, but whatever you need to do to relax. Some people like to kickstand that top leg behind. Some people like to lift that arm, the other arm, and hook it behind. That's all a little bit too much for me right now, so I'm just going to stay in and be okay with it. Be okay with the little more mild variation to get into the fascia, to get into some of those, the connective tissue we really target when we're at about 65% or so of our fullest stretch. So keep that in mind. We're not going for our biggest stretch ever. That actually sometimes tightens things up more because the body feels gripped and feels like it has to protect itself a bit. Sometimes doing less is truly more. So let's just stay here together. I'm here with you through this interesting interface, but I'm grateful for it, and so just let's be together here in silence for a few more moments. More breaths. So 2. Find your way to your belly nice and slow. Doing all your variations. And ease your left arm down. Take as long as you need. Bringing your arms by your side. One ear to mat. Take a moment to lie down. And we'll just go to our back now. Hopefully you can hear the sweet sound of the Kauai rain, just lightly washing ourselves over. Freshness, feeling in our shoulders. You might just rinse through the wrists. So we'll close before Savasana with some windshield wipers. We've done a lot with the shoulders, and so I just want you to rock out the hips and the low back. You can go really slow, you can go really fast. Just letting the legs rock out, arms anywhere by your side that feel comfy. Next option is as the legs go one direction, the head gently goes the other way. And as the knees drop the other directions, the head goes the other way. So you're just going opposite head, the eyes closed with legs. And now again you can go fast or slow. You have to think about it. Just let the back of your head feel heavy and let the knees rock. If you don't like this with the head, you can just do the legs. You could also just let the head turn halfway. Hi there. Hi, sweetheart. Couple more rounds, like 5 or so more, side to side. And find center and lay your body out for Shavasana. Just let yourself be. The wonderful thing about this shape is that there's no right or wrong way to do this. And as we lay down and melt, it's working. So all you have to do is just be. And hopefully you have a dog or a cat or something by your side licking your armpit. I do. Because it kind of feels okay. Shavasana. Take a deep breath in. I guess that'll be our singing bowl today. And a breath out. Bend your knees. As you're ready, roll to your side. We'll come up to a seat to close. Thank you so much for joining. We'll fold hands to heart and close with an Om together. If you'd like to join in. Big breath in. Thank you. Namaste. What are you doing?